Hi, my name is Chandra, and I've been gone for a while, but I am back. It's, I think, been since Thanksgiving or maybe a little before since I have posted a video. But here we are with a dinners of the week. And this night, we are having steak fajitas. I'm adding a little bit of lime at the end here to give it that nice acidic flavor. And we will put these into some cassava tortillas, and I can link my video on how I make cassava tortillas in the description. They're really, really great. I don't even think that we would go back to corn if we could. I don't really prefer to eat corn. So we make these. So there's some toppings, and I have some fermented jalapenos that I'm adding to mine. And everybody likes this dinner. Tacos are a pretty good win for everyone. This is some pork stock that I made. We want to make pork pho with this. So this is our next night's dinner. And for this pork pho, sometimes I use pork chops. This night I am making these little pork meatballs. They have usually cilantro and lime type flavors. I do have lime, but I didn't have cilantro. So I'm using some onion top pesto as kind of the base green flavor for these little meatballs. I'm grating ginger and garlic, and I will put whatever recipes I can down below for you. So here I have added some rice vinegar, some fish sauce, and some soy sauce. I'll mix this up and get it going into little balls. These just get broiled. I think it's about 8 minutes that it takes, give or take, and I turn them over partway through. I'm doing all of this early in the day, so I will move these onto a tray that fits into my toaster oven so I can warm them up when dinner comes. The earlier I get dinner ready, the better for me. I don't like to be rushing around at 5 o'clock. It makes my night really not as good as when I spend the morning or maybe nap time getting this stuff all ready. Here are all of our toppings. I have some toasted cashews, I have some spinach, sometimes I use bok choy, and here is the broth, which I added onion and star anise to, and I did not get a shot of this all put together, but these are all the things. I'm going to reheat this stock that I had made on top of that onion and star anise and a cinnamon stick, and I'll put it all over some rice noodles. Now we are making a fried food dinner, fish and chips. So I made these, we had small potatoes, so I made them into potato chip fries, and this is the first time I did it. I've done it several times since. This time they really turned out the best. And I think the secret is not doing too many at one time, especially the first round, because potatoes, when you fry them, need 2 rounds. The second round is when they get kind of crispy. So I put some lard into my pan on the stove to heat up, and I'm getting these, I soaked them in water to get a lot of the starch out. And now we're gonna get some of these into that hot fat. I got it up in the higher 300s range. This is our vegetable for the night, kale chips. It actually went out before dinner, kind of as an appetizer. So when you see the plates and they're all brown, it's because we already ate the kale chips. And I can put this down below. I make these all the time. And it's what I remind myself when I hear people say how their kids love Brussels sprouts or something, and I feel like, why don't my kids eat any vegetables? They do eat kale chips. So that's what I remind myself of. So putting some nutritional yeast on that, putting it in the oven. And here go the potatoes. This is my batter for the fish. It is equal parts cassava flour and rice flour, and some water and salt. This will get stirred up until it's like a pancake batter consistency. So I just add water until I reach that. And then the fish will get dipped in here and fried. Kale chips I bake at 275 for about half an hour, and I stir them around halfway through, and they're usually perfect. This I found was important when I've done these other times. See how this one has that big bubble? I got a lot of that the first time, and I think it's because I did cook them a little longer in the oil that first round, and I didn't pack as many in, and I got a lot more bubbles like that, and the end result was a lot better. So I'm gonna look for that in the future. I'm gonna look for a little bubbling on the potatoes before I take them out for the first frying. Now I'm getting out the oil that we use for frying fish. We keep a separate container of our fish frying oil because fish has a pretty strong flavor once you've used it. For oil, it smells like fish. So we use just that 3 or 4 times until the oil is pretty obviously degrading, and then we throw it out and start fresh. So I'm cutting this fish into pretty big pieces, and then I'll dip those in the batter and fry them up just until the batter is a good color, nice and crispy, and then usually the fish is done on the inside as well. For the potatoes going in for their second round of frying, I loaded the pot a little bit more, and I think that was just fine. are serving this with some tartar sauce and some ketchup. Here I am breaking down a chicken at high speed. I'm taking the wings off, getting rid of the little winglets, or not getting rid of them, putting it into my stock pot, which is the Instant Pot today, and then saving the wings in a bag, which I keep in the freezer, and we will, once we amass a certain amount of those, we will have wings for dinner. I'm taking the breast off for another night. Actually, I'm going to cook up the breast and use that for lunches that week for myself and maybe Leo. Sometimes he has that too. And then for this dinner, which is a cashew chicken with broccoli, we are going to use the legs, and I'm going to braise those in the oven in a really delicious sauce. This was really good, and I can definitely put this recipe down below. I found it on Pinterest, and we will make it again. I'm sure the recipe says to do this in cornstarch. I'm using arrowroot because we avoid corn in our house. Now I'm working on my stock ingredients. I've got the carcass of the chicken that I broke down in there. This is some chicken hearts. I always ask for any parts that I can get when I buy my chickens. So I get the feet, and that's some feet. I get the feet, the hearts, the livers, and then I have vegetables that I save in the freezer, onion skins and ends. That was parsley from my garden. I was still getting parsley out of there. Now we've got snow cover, but I had parsley for a long time. Adding an acid into my stock will help bring nutrients out of the bones. That was apple cider vinegar. You can also use wine, regular vinegar. And then this will go into my Instant Pot on low pressure for 2 hours. And that will be some beautiful bone broth. We're going to have this over rice. I try to always make rice in bone broth just to get a lot more nutrients in there than plain white rice.